Your 30s show up out of nowhere. Ask me how I know. One minute you're pumped about finally getting a real salary. The next minute you've got a mortgage application on the table, a car payment draining your bank account, daycare costs that feel illegal, and a retirement account you've been meaning to fund for 2 years now. Does this sound familiar? Here's the thing nobody actually warns you about. Your 20s are for figuring things out and having fun. Your 30s are when the bill comes due. The financial decisions you make in this decade will either set you up for a comfortable, stress-free life or leave you scrambling to catch up well into your 50s. Today, I'm gonna walk you through the 9 financial milestones you need to hit in your 30s so you can stop feeling behind and actually start building the life you've been working toward. The first milestone is the most unglamorous on this list, and it might also be the most important. You need to eliminate every single dollar of consumer debt, okay? We can get into interest rates and that argument, all that stuff, but for now, I'm talking zero. The only exception is your mortgage, and I'll get to that. But everything else needs to go. Credit cards, car payments, student loans, that furniture loan you took out 3 years ago and somehow still haven't paid off. I know what you're thinking right now. That sounds impossible, Marko. My student loans alone could fund a small country. But here's why this matters so much specifically in your 30s. This decade and your 40s are your prime earning window, okay? Your salary is likely the highest it's ever been so far in your life, and it's probably still climbing. The absolute last thing you want is consumer debt acting like financial quicksand and this big anchor that I try to draw. That quicksand is pulling down every dollar you earn before it has a chance to do anything useful, like investing. So here's a real number to think about. If you're paying $400 a month in credit cards and another $600 a month on a car loan, that's $1,000 every single month that could be building your wealth instead of the banks. So over 1 year, that's $12,000. Over a decade, that's $120,000. And that's before we even talk about what that money could have grown into if you would have invested it. So your 30s also come loaded with more financial complexity than you've ever dealt with before. Work gets more demanding, the house needs things, kids need things, aging parents start needing things, okay? Having consumer debt on top of all of that isn't just a financial problem, it's a mental burden, okay? That mental burden, guess what it's gonna do? It's going to quietly drain your ability to think clearly and make good decisions because you're working from a position of necessity, not options, okay, not comfort. So I always say this to people who push back on aggressively paying off debt. The day you make your last debt payment is the day your income actually starts working for you, not before. Think of paying off debt as a guaranteed, interest-free, tax-free, guaranteed rate of return of whatever that interest is that you're paying off. So if your credit card is 17% or 25% and you pay it off, guess what? You're making a guaranteed rate of return, tax-free, of 17 or 25%. Get it? Milestone 2 is your credit score. And I wanna specifically talk about shooting for excellent, okay? Not very good, not good, not fair, not poor. Excellent, excelente. Like when you go on a cheesy, all-inclusive vacation in the Dominican. How you doing today? Excelente, no matter what. They could have a bullet wound in their side. How you doing? Excelente. Okay, dude, we get it. Okay, so not very good, excellent. We're talking 800 or higher, okay? Here's a screenshot of my credit score. It's literally 810 right now at the time of this recording, and guess what? It's been 800 my entire life because I'm not a loser. Now, I already know some of you are about to say, Marko, credit scores don't matter if you're not planning to borrow money. And I get it, but here's the reality check. Unless you're paying cash for your house, your credit score is going to directly determine how much that mortgage costs you. And I mean that literally. So let me give you some actual numbers. Say you're buying a $400,000 home, which isn't exactly a mansion in most markets right now. With an excellent credit score, you might lock in a 6.5% interest rate at the time of this recording. Over 30 years, you'll pay roughly $511,000 in interest. Not great, but that's just the reality of mortgages right now. Now, bump that rate to 7% because your score was just okay, not terrible. That tiny 0.5% difference costs you $47,000 extra dollars in interest over the life of the loan. Same house, same 30 years, almost $50,000 more just because your credit score wasn't where it needed to be. Here's the part that gets me. According to LendingTree, a single late payment more than 30 days overdue can drop your credit score by anywhere from 80 to 180 points, depending on where your score starts, and it stays on your credit report for up to 7 years. One forgotten bill, tens of thousands of dollars in potential extra interest over your lifetime. The good news is this is completely controllable. Pay every bill on time, every single time. Keep your credit utilization below 30%, ideally under 10. Don't open new accounts unless you have a real reason to. And don't close old cards unless they're charging you an annual fee you can't justify, because the length of your credit history matters more than most people realize. Milestone number 3 is where most people in their 30s are completely winging it, and I get it. Planning 30 years ahead sounds about as fun as doing your taxes on a Sunday night, okay? But your 30s are the decade where you start juggling multiple financial priorities at the same exact time, and without a roadmap, you like this roadmap? Look at that. Look at this hideaway with these signs. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. My 4-year-old daughter draws better than me. Without a roadmap, you're just playing financial whack-a-mole, okay? You're just guessing. You knock down one thing and 3 more pop up. The framework I like to use, the acronym is BRETT, B-R-E-T-T, okay, if you can see that. B is for budgeting and saving, okay? You need to know exactly how much money is coming in, exactly how much needs to go out, and exactly how much you need to save to hit your long-term goals. Not a rough estimate. Actual numbers, okay? R is for retirement planning, not just logging into your 401k once a year and hoping for the best, but actually understanding where you are, okay? Whether you're on track and what adjustments you might need to make. E, number 3, is for estate planning. I know, we'll hit this more detail in a later section, but the first T is for tax planning, okay? And I'm not gonna talk about estate planning just now. I just wanna get through the acronym. Tax planning, and make sure you're using every legal strategy available to keep more of your money, because the government will happily take everything you're willing to give them and use it to bomb another country. The second T is for tracking your progress. Building wealth is a long game, and the only way to win a long game is to keep score regularly. This is also the point in your life where working with a fee-only financial planner actually starts making real sense, especially if you've got multiple income streams, okay? Or, significant assets or a family, okay? All these things complicate it. So that's more complicated than a TurboTax questionnaire can handle, okay? The plan itself matters less than actually having one and sticking to it. Now we're going to tackle 2 milestones together because they actually feed each other. These are number 4 and 5 with emergency and savings and retirement, okay? So milestones 4 and 5 is the emergency fund and retirement savings. Let's start with the emergency fund. In your 20s, the standard advice was 3 to 6 months of expenses. In your 30s, I want you to think bigger, okay? 6 to 12 months minimum, maybe even more if your income fluctuates or if you're self-employed. Well, why the jump, Marko? Because your 30s come with a completely different level of financial exposure. Your house decides the water heater needs replacing on Christmas Eve. Your kids need emergency dental work. Your car breaks down, and of course, it's something complicated and expensive. Or, and this is the kind of an emergency if you want to call it that, an investment opportunity shows up that you need to take advantage of. A well-stocked emergency fund can be both a war chest and a defensive shield, if that makes sense, okay? It's not just about security. It's about having options. So when you can absorb a financial hit without blowing up your entire plan, you negotiate from a position of strength, you sleep better, and you can actually take calculated risks that might pay off big. Keep this money in a high-yield savings account where it earns decent interest but stays completely accessible. Or you can do SGOV, S-G-O-V. Now let's talk about retirement. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median income for workers in the 35 to 44 age bracket is now around $72,000 a year. That means if you're right in the middle of that range, your 3 times salary target at 40 is roughly $216,000. Here's why that number matters so much. If you hit that benchmark at 40 and keep contributing consistently at 15% of your income, retirement calculators show you could be approaching $2 million by 67 years old, and potentially well above that if your salary grows over time, which it almost certainly will. That is the power of compound interest when you give it enough runway. Every year you delay getting serious about retirement is a year of compounding you give up permanently. If you're not there yet, stop beating yourself up and start moving. You still have 25 to 30 years, but the math gets harder every year you wait. One specific move I'd like to make right now is every single time you get a raise, bump your retirement contribution percentage before your lifestyle has a chance to absorb that money. The next milestone is the most important in this video because it separates the wealth builders from the fakers. But before that, let's get into today's video sponsor, Policy Genius. March is when things start to shift. The days get longer, you start moving again. Maybe you're finally tackling that project you pushed off all winter. And there's something about that energy, that sense of forward motion that makes you stop and think. Not just of your house or your schedule, but of the bigger picture, the life you've actually built. And here's the part that gets me. Most people put more thought into their spring cleaning than they do into what happens to their family if something actually goes wrong. Life insurance is heavy because what's behind it is heavy, but Policy Genius takes that weight down a notch. They're a marketplace, not an insurance company, so they shop policies from top insurers and put your options side by side. Coverage amounts, prices, terms, all in one place. No guesswork, no sales pressure. Their licensed agents walk you through everything. They handle the paperwork and advocate for you the whole way through. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot back that up. With Policy Genius, you can see if you can find 20-year life insurance policies starting at just $276 a year for $1 million in coverage. You've already built something worth protecting. Now's a good time to make it official. Head to policygenius.com/whiteboardfinance or click the link in the description to compare free quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/whiteboardfinance. Okay, milestone 6 is the one that separates the actual wealth builders from people who just look wealthy. Lifestyle inflation immunity. Okay, immunity from lifestyle inflation. And your 30s are a prime time for this trap. Here's how it works. So you get a raise. Suddenly, the apartment you've been perfectly happy in feels a little bit cramped. Your bonus hits, and somehow you deserve a nicer car. Your income goes up, and like magic, your expenses rise to perfectly meet these holes in the bucket. It's leaving you with the exact same amount left over as when you were earning $30,000 less a year. I have friends living in major cities making 6 figures who are genuinely broke. Okay, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're driving cars that cost as much as a down payment on a house, living in apartments that cost more than most people's annual salaries, and they're eating out 5 nights a week because apparently cooking is beneath them now, or they're too stressed to do it. And then they turn around and complain about not being able to save money. It's like watching someone pour water into a bucket full of holes and wondering why it never fills up. The good news is the solution isn't deprivation. You don't need to stop enjoying your money. The key is automation and timing. Every time your income increases, okay? Try and plug these holes. You automatically redirect at least half of that increase to savings and investments before your brain has a chance to dream up new ways to spend it. Got a $5,000 raise? Immediately increase your annual retirement contributions by $2,500. You'll never feel like you lost anything because you never had time to get used to spending it. My wife and I actually built our entire financial foundation on this simple principle. When she went from being a nurse to a nurse practitioner and her income jumped, we automated the difference straight into investments, or savings in this case, before our spending had any chance to adjust. That gap between what you earn and what you spend is actually where wealth is being built. Okay, we've got 3 milestones to cover here, 7, 8, and 9, okay? And I'm going to move through them efficiently. Milestone 7 is estate planning, okay? And yes, I know you think you're too young for this or you don't have enough money or assets. But if you have kids, a mortgage, or any meaningful assets, you need the basic in place right now. This isn't about planning for death. It's about planning for life's unpredictable left hooks. So what happens if you're in an accident, God forbid, and can't make decisions for yourself, okay? You have your will, you have your power of attorney, you have your beneficiaries designated, and you have life insurance, okay? Who takes care of your kids if something happens to both you and your spouse? Say you're traveling somewhere. What happens to your house and your retirement accounts? Without proper documentation, courts and bureaucrats answer those questions for you, not you. The good news is basic estate planning isn't expensive or complicated. A will, powers of attorney, and making sure your beneficiary designations are all updated on all of your accounts. Start there. Milestone 8 is one that financial people almost never talk about, and that is investing in your health. Stay with me on this because this is a money topic. According to Fidelity's 2025 research, a single person retiring at 65 can expect to spend an average of $172,000 on healthcare costs throughout retirement, and that's just the post-retirement period alone, not even the decades before it. So if you can reduce that number by even 20% through preventative care, better nutrition, regular exercise, and not making choices you already know are bad for you, you've just saved yourself over $34,000. And that's before we even account for the income you protect by staying healthy and productive during your working years. Your 30s are also when your body starts sending you the first memo that it's no longer invincible. The habits you build now are exponentially easier to build now than they will be at 50. Milestone 9, okay? This is your kids' education funding. Historically, college costs have risen at roughly twice the rate of general inflation over the past 30 years. According to the College Board's 2024 Trend in College Pricing Report, the all-in cost for an in-state student at a public four-year university, tuition, room, board, books, and fees, is now around $30,000 per year. For private schools, you're looking at closer to $63,000 a year, and those are today's numbers. By the time your kids get ready to go, they'll be higher. A 529 education savings plan is the right vehicle here. Money grows tax-free, and withdrawals are qualified education expenses. They're also tax-free. So if your state offers a deduction for contributions, that's basically free money at that point. Even $50 to $100 a month started early gives compound interest 15 to 18 years to work. And if they end up not needing all of it, new rules allow rollovers into a Roth IRA. All right, here are my honest thoughts and opinions like always. Your 30s are genuinely the most important financial decade of your life. Not because you have the most money, you probably don't yet, but because you have the one thing that you can never get back once it's gone, which is time. The decisions you make between 30 and 40 will either have compound interest working violently in your favor by the time you hit 50, or you'll spend your 50s trying to make up for a decade of drift. And I don't want that for you. That's why I started this channel. Here's how I'd actually prioritize this list if you're feeling overwhelmed. Start by killing consumer debt and funding your emergency cushion. Those two things together are the foundation of every other financial move you'll ever make. Once that foundation is solid, lock in your retirement contributions at a level that actually moves the needle and get serious about not letting lifestyle inflation quietly undo all of it. Then layer in the estate planning, the health investments, the kids' college funds, the savings, the things that we just talked about. So I personally use all these three things to make sure that I will have a comfortable retirement in the future, God willing. And that's why I'm really focusing on health right now. I'm trying to get to 14% body fat. I'm doing pretty well. These videos don't really show it, but your boy's getting kind of ripped, dog. Your boy's getting kind of ripped. I've been knocking out calisthenics 3 times a week, eating well. Sometimes stress eating, you know? But anyway, your boy's taking health seriously like he always has. I've always played soccer my whole life, but I've kind of taken it for granted. And now I'm 38, those things start to stick to you, if you know what I'm saying. Please, if you haven't already, check out Whiteboard Finance University, wbfuniversity.com. It's my private community. We talk about all this stuff in depth. There's a million spreadsheets, budget trackers, live chat. We go live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And we've had all of those recorded for the past 2.5 years. So if you missed something, you can just rewatch the recording. They're super fun. There's about 15 to 20 of us on these calls, and it just keeps growing every week. And then there's many, many, many more people that watch the replays. And also, just so you know, I divulge every trade I make, everything that I sell, but I also just show you my whole entire portfolio as well. So you can just say, hey, Marko, shut up, show me what you're putting your money into. All right, guys, I hope you got value from this video. If so, please share the video with 12,000 friends. Comment, like, hit the subscribe button, do all that YouTuber stuff. Absolutely smash and destroy the subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Sign up for Whiteboard Finance University so my children can eat a hot meal.